Can you still buy his albums? I mean, No Way Out got some timeless hits on there, like Victory. Victory is on this album. How about Forever? Diddy Forever. Remember this one? What's on Diddy Forever? Um, Definitely some Satisfy You. I remember that. The irony of some of these titles, right? P. Diddy and the Bad Boy Family, right? Which one was this one? Press Play. Remember Press Play? Okay. We Invented the Remix. Oh, man. Can you buy his next album? Huh? Would you buy his next album? If you wouldn't, would you at least listen to it? What's up, y'all? Good morning. Welcome back to the Sorry It's True podcast. Yeah, what happens when I pop up 5 minutes early? Good morning. Good morning. It's your boy ARP, and we back. A lot going on today. I think it's going to be a very, very fun stream. Interesting. Might tweak a nerve or two. All right. Might tweak a nerve when we get to the second half of this Diddy conversation, because you see the title, The Truth About the Diddy Verdict and Why People Are Upset. I want to get into the weeds of that. And don't get too mad at me when we get to that part. But I got to talk my truth, and I want to see how many of y'all are with me on that one. Okay. So, yeah, we got the Diddy stuff. We got the aftermath of the verdict. We got some updates. You know, he went back in immediately for bail. So we'll talk about all of that. Also, what do we got? We got a Verb in the thumbnail. I believe this is the 16th day straight. A lot of people's asking for 40 days and 40 nights. This is day 16. So shout out to A Verb for making the thumbnail for 16 days straight. We'll get to something that I just want to make sure that we put out there to the folks when it comes to our friend A Verb. You see Drake in the thumbnail. Got a quick topic about Drake. Indirectly, I admit. Indirect Drake topic. We got a top 50 from Complex. I want to glance on that and see if they tripping. Are they on point? Is it controversial? You know how it is when people put out these damn top 5, top 10, top 50 lists, when BET does it, when MTV does it, when Complex does it. Let's see if it rattles the cage at all. We got a new lawsuit that may or may not be interesting, but I want to try to look at some of the possible origins of it. New lawsuit to talk about. And then we'll close out with some smaller stuff. You know how we do. Shout out to the chat that's coming in. We got KX immediately. Yo, y'all, if you join the streams early, you might catch an early membership from KX, man. Shout out to my guy KX, one of our loyal members in the building, bright and early with the 6 a.m. Eastern time crew. Shout out to the Green Gang that's in the building as well. Oh, wow. Big Yella's getting in on the action as well. He gifted 5 memberships as well. Shout out to our member, Big Yella. Right? I see some other members coming into the chat. Shout out to our member and our mod. Jay is in the building. She's here. What else we got going on? Jonathan Muddy Hands, our member, is in the building saying good morning. What else we got? I got Hustle Boy 614. He's here. Good morning, G. I got Brett in the building with us, our member. Okay. JoJo's here. What's good, G? What's good? We got It's a Rap, our member in the building. Okay. We got members, we got mods, we got early memberships getting gifted on the channel. I'm ready to work. Y'all ready to work? All right, let's get to it, because this Diddy conversation could take 45 minutes within itself. So let's get moving. Let's start off with the aftermath of the verdict yesterday. So it seems like for the most part, people are happy, right? On Diddy's side. His family, his friends, his supporters, they're glad at the outcome when it comes to the actual charges that he was convicted of. Remember, he took those 2 Mann acts, one related to Jane, one related to Cassie, both of which carry a maximum of 10 years. Nobody believes that 10 plus 10, he's going to get the sentencing, which is October 3rd. Nobody thinks he's going to get to October 3rd and the judge is going to say, well, here's this 20. Nobody believes that. Okay. There's already proposals coming around of 2 to 3 years. I'm staying where I was initially, which is are in that 5 year range, 5, 6, 7 years, and then God knows when he possibly can get parole added on to that, maybe 7 year sentence with option for parole after 3 years, time served, good behavior. You never know. Out in 3, out in 4, out in 5, which I always said would be a win for Diddy, considering that he is facing charges that carry life. Okay. So he walks away with this Mann Act stuff and prostitution. That is a win for him and his family. All right. And this is why I believe that Diddy, there's pictures of him, sketches of him bent over on his chair, kind of, crying in out of happiness, right? You see his family celebrating. Look at this footage. This is his lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, giving a public statement after the verdict.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the sex trafficking, which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict of our jury. So today's a great day. Today is a win. Today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs and our legal team. And I want to say one thing. There are very few people around whom a legal team could coalesce and become one. And Sean Combs is that person, and we are all blessed to be part of it. And I am now done speaking to you, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Garagos. Today's a great victory.
Yeah, and Teeny did her thing too. So did Brian Steele. Let's look at a little bit more of the aftermath, right? We got speaking of let's go to the Brian Steele one. Let me go to that one. Why not? Just remember, people, your newest Johnny Cochran. Brian Steele has now won 2 RICO cases in under a year. If you guys are on yesterday's breaking news stream when the verdict came down, we pulled up how many people beat a RICO. Just so happens to be, with the exception of John Gotti, looked like they were all rappers. You had 6ix9ine, you had Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti, the whole Murder Inc. RICO, right? You have Young Thug, you have Diddy now, and the list, there's a couple other people in there that was facing possible RICO indictments that weren't brought, maybe stopped at grand jury, et cetera, et cetera. People like Jay-Z were on that list, mentioned like that, like they actually fell back. But Brian Steele, he even came into this situation fourth quarter, and your reputation in this world, it's like being a realtor. It's like being a company that sells products. Same thing goes for a lawyer. Your reputation drives your price through the roof. It drives your client demand through the roof. And even after the Young Thug trial and people seeing him on display there, I'm pretty sure he could charge the top dollar. When we just heard that Alex Spiro's $3,000 an hour, Brian Steele is the same, if not more. Okay, people. I can't afford it. I don't got it. But I also don't plan on being in trouble in any degree that will require a Brian Steele. You know what I'm saying? But to beat 2, he's out here trying to put up fucking stats, like big championship level stats. All right, let's look a little bit more of the ripple effect of the decision yesterday when we talk about people around Diddy being happy. How about the biggest example? His family, his children. I'm quiet a little bit there on the music, but his sons, his people out there celebrating. This probably was the time when
God bless. God bless the whole world.
They're saying God bless, thank you, and everything. This was probably in between after the verdict and then in between when they was coming back, waiting for a possible bail. Right. So his family is happy. Right. They say in court, Diddy turned back to his family and said, I'm coming home. And yes, considered what he was convicted of, he does have the opportunity to come home. All right. Now, general public, more vibe. This is all perfect building into the topic, people. Okay. This is all relevant. We need to go through this before we start tweaking some nerves this morning. All right, let's look at just general fans and supporters that were outside of the courthouse yesterday after the verdict. I don't know if y'all need to have a curbside baby oil party, but whatever floats your boat, man. Okay. All right. Yo, your man with that hat is holding up the baby oil and said, "This is the gift that keeps on giving." Did Johnson and Johnson win? Did Johnson and Johnson stock just go up? If you have stock in Johnson and Johnson, did you just make money from yesterday's verdict? That's a real question. But not everybody's happy. For example, Cassie's lawyer did what? Cassie's lawyer writes a letter to the judge requesting that Diddy's bail be denied, claiming Diddy is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself. And here's the letter. Dear Judge, we write as counsel for Cassandra Ventura, Ms. Ventura, to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentencing on his 2 convictions under 18 USC. Pursuant to the Bail Reform Act, detention is mandatory post-conviction on these charges, and Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself, as well as the community. We thank the court for its time and attention to this matter. Respectfully submitted, Douglas H. Wigder, her lawyer. All right, where do I start with that? So, we know that he has sentenced in October 3rd, and that was some of the most bullshit that I've ever seen. I've never seen a verdict come down, somebody still to get convicted of some of his charges, and right there on the spot, the attorney says, all right, well, since this is only prostitution, thank you, by the way, jury, but yeah, judge, since this is only prostitution, I got this bag of, I got $1 million in this duffel right here for you. It wasn't a duffel bag, people. I got this mill for you right here. I ain't going nowhere because my private jet is already overseas. Why is this private jet overseas? It's in Mumbai, right? And all I want is to be able to move to Miami, give me a little LA, sprinkle in a little New York, and I'm out. I'm good. And I'll see you October for sentencing. If he would have came back and got bond after 1 p.m. for that, I would have said, this nigga Diddy and his lawyer crew is flexing for real, for real. So that was denied. That was denied. But looking at this Cassie situation here, first of all, how about this? If you're her husband, how do you feel? Because you get to have this mental position, this emotional position that this is the mother of my children. This is the woman that I lay down at night with. And what she went through with this guy and all the freak offs and the baby oil and the nasty stuff she was doing, my woman was forced. She was coerced. She was threatened. She didn't want to do none of that. And then the whole jury comes back unanimous, like, these bitches wasn't coerced. These bitches wasn't forced. These bitches wasn't kidnapped. These bitches was opportunists. They wanted this shit. The prostitution, because they set it up with some escorts flying in and out of fucking Ibiza and LA and all that. Yeah, we're going to give them that man act shit. But as far as these girls being victims, fuck out of here. How do you feel as a husband? Like, his face is known. Y'all walking it out of the supermarket and nigga look at you like, you still with her? But anyway, him still being posing a danger to the victims. Like Boosie said, I put it up on our YouTube short. I put it up on my Instagram. I put it up on my Twitter. You see, yesterday when I got caught off guard, I almost spit out my water from Boosie. Like, Diddy, what you need to do is go grab Stevie J, your children, and go sit the fuck down. Hilarious. That was the bar of the day yesterday. I'm not Diddy's right hand man. We obviously don't know all his tendencies off camera, even for violence. I think he is a violent guy, right? That's already clear and shown, right? And not just for women. Diddy's a violent guy, period. He results to violence, man. But do I think he's going to go at 55 at this point, go try to target Cassie and Jane or whatever? I would carry some resentment towards these bitches. Even if I got to go sit down for 5 years, I know things that had nothing to do with this trial. I know the time that you called me begging and crying and when we laughed about the freak offs on the phone. I know these things. Some of the stuff wasn't even a part of the trial, but I know. So fuck yeah, you mad at them forever, possibly. But this is kind of a victory for you, considering what you were facing. What do you want to do? You want to go throw it away? You got to look around and say, yeah, this is my turn to go sit down. It's my turn. Can I still party and shit? Yeah, I could do it. But all this other stuff and some of these old relationships, I never want to see Cassie again. I never want to see Jane again. Fuck them. I'm going to be over here. Let them be over there. You already paid the woman $20 million. Shit, if he's going to be a danger to you, he should have been a danger to you at the point where you were suing him for $20 plus million. Right? And so, I mean, obviously, they just don't want him outside. The Cassies of the world. And I guess she has the right to feel that way. She was physically abused, but I don't think that this is Sammy the Bull outside, and he's hunting down old victims that he never completed the mission on. Like, I mean, but just an opinion. But that's what Cassie's lawyer presented after they went about bail. Now, let's start to really get into the title. The truth about the Diddy verdict and why people are upset. The chat here yesterday felt, for the most part, I was gauging it, felt for the most part, none of us really fuck with Diddy. We know he's a disgusting human being. He did a lot of disgusting things. But as far as this case, removing the personalized, that's a big word, removing the personalized element, didn't agree with a lot of it. And neither did I. Didn't agree with a lot of it. But now that the verdict is in, we see scenarios where emotionally within society, people begin to get divided. People begin to make it personal. And some of it is warranted. You want some examples? Okay. How about Rodney King? Right? How about any time these police brutality cases where we see a cop get off? There's one happening right now that we are following. Rodney Hinton Jr. The police chief had to take the podium and try to calm down the public in that area. Please, we don't want any retaliations. We don't want any fussing, any fighting. A racial element comes in. It becomes damn near black and white versus white, which is a part of the overtone of the trial. Who wins and who loses? The good versus the bad, the white versus the black, the police versus the civilians. It becomes an overtone. Tory Lanez was another one. Tory Lanez and Meg became men versus women. It did. Okay. OJ had a black versus white element there. It was a cultural thing. Black and white. Abso-fucking-lutely. And here we are again, man versus woman. Diddy and this sex trafficking case. Okay. And I'm going to start to show you guys why people are upset. But let's pull up this Piers Morgan video. He's got a panel of, I believe, attorneys and experts with him post-verdict. And let's see their reactions and why they feel that the verdict came out the way that it came out. Check this out.
Start with you, because you've been very clear with me in the many times you've appeared on Uncensored during this case that you believed they were not going to get convictions on the more serious charges. And what is fascinating about that, A, that you've been proven right, of course, but also that in the Southern District of New York, the success rate for federal prosecutors is 93%. You know, they hardly ever fail. So just why do you think here I mean, it's being billed as Diddy beats the feds. Obviously, he's not completely beaten them, but he's only been found guilty of the least.
I want you guys to do me a favor during a lot of this. Watch Shorty on the right's face. Watch her mannerisms. Watch her physical reactions during some of these takes. We're going to start bleeding into this title, people. Watch.
Serious charges. Why do you think that has happened?
Because the evidence was weak. I said from the very beginning, I've got over 100 jury trials. I did this for 23 years. All I do is trial consulting now. I can spot a bad case a mile away. And the first witness in this case, from the first witness in this case on, this was always about the government saying he's a bad person, which he is. He's a horrible, rotten woman beater. And as I told you last time, Agnifilo is going to get up there and say, convict him of every single count of domestic violence, but there aren't any counts of domestic violence. He did that. I told you before that they were going to sit there and say that these women enjoyed this. There was no coercion. There was no duress. And to show that one video of what happened years ago, that's what they built their entire case on. And it's horrible, but he wasn't charged.
She doesn't even want to look in the camera.
Racketeering, RICO is meant for particular vices, and those vices don't include shipping in prostitutes, and unfortunately they don't also include beating your wife or your girlfriend. That's what he was. He's a wife beater or girlfriend beater. He was never should have been charged with this. Never close. All the people who were wringing their hands and saying, oh well, they must have convicted him in four counts. It's not even true. They never believed the word Cassie said. They never believed the word Jane said. That jury wasn't even out. 1 hour of deliberations, they came and said, Judge, we need to throw juror 25 off because he's not deliberating. That told you there was already a group of people together who were willing to go in one direction or the other. That jury deliberated 3 hours, essentially, before they had conviction or had verdicts, which a fast verdict like that, in my experience, tells me that's clearly a defense verdict. Clearly. They came back today and it was over. It wasn't a strong case. It was a strong case in the media and all the pundits who wanted to say he's a woman beater, which he is. That doesn't equal a RICO charge.
No, well, you've been very consistent on that. I mean, given the convictions he's now received, what is his likely sentence? I mean, each count, I think, is a maximum of...
Got to give him 2 years.
It's a maximum of 10 years on each count. So what do you think he'll get?
Yeah, but the feds are different. First of all, he's convicted of procuring a prostitute. If we're going to start throwing music moguls and billionaires in prison for procuring prostitutes, we need to expand the prisons. We're going to have to get, alligator Alcatraz fired up. But under the guidelines, he has no criminal record.
Look at her
basically.
face.
So he should get the minimum sentence, which is 2 years, and they can screw him over and run him bow-legged and do him consecutively. There's no reason for them to do that. I expect at 1 o'clock the judge is going to give him bail. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, there's very few people in federal prison right now for these charges. So I would be surprised if he didn't get bail, and he should get the minimum because that's what they're not going to look at. Beat up Cassie. That's not relevant.
No, it's irrelevant. But let me ask you this, on a technical point. Can the time that he served in prison then be removed? Say he gets 2 years to run concurrently on both counts. So he serves 2 years. Would they remove time served, or is that irrelevant?
The judge can do whatever the judge wants to, but he gets his credit. In feds, it's day for day, so he gets $1 for every dollar he put in. So he's 7 months into this already. So if they run him concurrently, he's looking at probably a 20-month guideline, and you knock off 7, and there's very real chance that he's not ever going to see a federal prison. That's if it doesn't get if the president doesn't do something with it, because this is the kind of thing that you can see someone granting a pardon on. I mean, it's the White Slave Trade Act. That's real difficult to sentence somebody on the White Slave Trade Act in 2025, just from a practical standpoint.
Okay.
The government failed miserably.
Yeah, when they clearly have. Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, you represent another of women in civil cases against Sean Combs. What is your reaction to this verdict?
Well, I think it's important.
People, I saw the questions in the chat. Did you catch that? She's representing several people with civil suits against Diddy. So some people could say that that's her own personal motive, but ladies in the chat right now, y'all are family. I'm using her at least to start to represent a lot of what we see going on out there, which is some of the female and woman response. Not all, some. Okay, let's check her out.
That we discussed the lack of diversity that was on the prosecution team. That was probably my most concern when I faced them when I had a hearing for a motion to quash during the grand jury testimony. I was very concerned when I was looking across from me at 6 white women and them not being able to grasp just exactly how to convey what has occurred to a jury and being able to relate these things to a jury. Of course, my clients are very shocked at all of this. I am shocked. I'm actually very shocked at how they were able to reach the transportation aspect, but not the other two charges, because one kind of flows with the other.
Well, they don't though, really, do they? Because the transportation is that you're transporting people illegally across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. But that doesn't mean there's any coercion. And in fact, they have rejected all the charges, which would then lead on to a coercive situation. No sex trafficking.
You can't cut me off and let me not finish my statement.
Sure.
So in reference to, first of all, the bar they have to meet, it's a very, very high bar in criminal court. It is beyond a reasonable doubt. So, of course, it's clear that he did these things, transporting people for prostitution, the prostitutes, like you just said, the Punisher, who you'll have later, and other men who have said they were transported, as well as the women who said, the Jane Does, who said they were also transported for this reason. However, when we talk about the coercion, I thought the elements were met. If you are asking me where I think the prosecution fell short, was I think taking 6 weeks to put on their case was a mistake. It was overkill. I think had they shortened and streamlined their case, maybe in a 3-4 week at max point, they would have been successful.
And when you say the prosecution team wasn't diverse enough, what exactly do you mean? What are you saying?
There were 6 white women. So there was not any other voice other than a white woman's voice being heard. There was not a man's voice, a man's perspective of any race, let alone any other race.
Is that a bad thing for women? If one of the biggest pieces of the overtone of the case that I'm walking into, the trial that I'm walking into, is this hotel footage of me beating on my girlfriend savagely in a towel, and I'm walking into court with the whole world watching that, to the point where I'm trying to keep that out of court, and I couldn't even get that done, right? I didn't even want the video showed in court. I lost that. And then I get in there and just saying that a majority of the voice is women, white or black, but is women. I want men. If I'm walking into that trial as Diddy, I want more men. And I'm not trying to say that men are going to justify it, but men identify or understand men, and women understand women. Like, I can't tell you what it's like when y'all have y'all time in a month. You can't tell me what it's like walking around this earth as a black man and dealing with the pressures and the scrutiny that I feel day to day versus women deal with the same. I'm just saying, like, there's certain boundaries that I can't stand in your shoes and you can't stand in mine. So a woman should be able to identify with another woman's plight. So she's kind of contradicting the expectation there, but let's continue. I don't even want to make that a focal point.
Especially a black voice, considering just how, I don't even know what the word impactful is, not even a good enough word to describe Diddy's, I want to say impacts, but that, again, that's not even a good enough word. His chokehold, I'll call it, on the black community. So when I look at, like, for example, R. Kelly, who his
chokehold on the black community? By the way, Jane ain't black, right? Ain't she Filipino or some shit like that? But it's, keep going. I'm gonna make my points later. I'm gonna chill. Now look at homie's face to the left. To the left of her.
I think he didn't do half as much or a quarter as much as Diddy did. For him to be in jail for 25 years and Diddy to essentially be getting possibly 10 to 20 years, 10 years max on each count, I don't understand it.
Tax day has passed, but for millions of Americans, that's where the trouble begins. The IRS is the Time's Up campaign. There was a kind of, real zealous desire to put bad men away for long periods of time, Harvey Weinstein and others. And that the mood has changed somewhat now, and that people listen to the evidence, particularly with Cassie Ventura, where, she settled with Diddy for, a lot of money, many millions of dollars, had her rent paid, that she, in all the text messages that were leaked, carried on sending him very loving text messages, talking openly about wanting to do the free costs. The Punisher, who I'm going to interview again a little later in the show, when I interviewed him, he was very persuasive that everything that he was involved in was not only consensual, but Cassie was the one driving it all. She was the one paying him. She was the one organizing everything. Diddy just sat in the corner watching them.
But let's be for real. Cassie didn't have her own money. So if that was the case, why did her parents need to take out a loan to pay Diddy for that?
Right, but my question is,
so
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying,
and this was her thing.
Okay, but Ariel, you're missing my point. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm saying, do you feel like there's a different mood now about these cases?
I was about to say, I was trying to get to what your question was, which is, I would hate to think that the application of the law is on the whim of the attitude of the people. So that's what you're implying, that because the wind has changed, there's an inappropriate application of law. And I would hate to think that we live in a society where that is occurring.
Okay. Bruce Rivers, I mean, you were very confident that he was going to go down to prison for the rest of his natural life. That is clearly not going to happen. So how do you feel about this verdict?
Well, I think the case was overcharged to begin with. And what the defense did in this case, they really focused on the free will of Cassie Ventura. When you have somebody that's a hanger-on, somebody that is getting something out of this, as opposed to somebody who's being forced into
hanger-on.
You know, that's where I think the defense really won the day. And, you know, I was going basically on the sensationalistic nature of the conduct because it really is bad. But when you really apply, I just tried one of these RICO cases here in Minneapolis on a gang case about a month and a half ago. And it's really easy to prove. But the thing about it is here, the court can use some of this acquitted conduct in sentencing. And so it's the final chapter hasn't been written. You know, I know
he may still get a substantial prison sentence, you think?
He could. He could. The average person wouldn't, but the average person doesn't have all this other conduct. You know, that, But
how much of that is relevant to what a judge may decide should be a sentence? I mean, I don't think this judge is going to... I mean, the judge, for example, can't bring in the appalling beating video because the statute of limitations is over for that, right? It's not even relevant legally.
Oh, sure it is. All the conduct of Diddy throughout this whole thing is relevant. You know, the judge will take into consideration the whole picture of Diddy, not just the offense for which he's charged. You know, he's got what I think he's like 7 months in or something like that. So if you just look at the low end of the guidelines, he's almost got that served. And so a judge may say, this is not what the message I want to send to the public. You know, and the judge very well, he could sentence him consecutively. I doubt that he's going to, but
hasn't the jury, look, I mean, isn't the bottom line here that the jury seems to have concluded, and we may hear from some jurors, but, you know, I've just seen a statement from Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Doug Wigdor. He says, we're just pleased that he still faces substantial jail time, or that remains to be seen. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that's persisted for decades without repercussion. I'm not sure she has established that in terms of the eyes of the jury. You know, I share, listen, hang on. I share the general view that video of Diddy beating her up in the hotel corridor was disgusting. He's clearly an appalling woman beater. However, that's not what he was charged with. And in terms of the charges, it just seems to me they didn't establish that any of this was non-consensual.
There's some truth to that, but they could have decided the RICO on the fact that there wasn't an enterprise. I mean, they could have we don't know why they acquitted on the RICO. On the sex trafficking, you know, it has to be forced part of coercion, but they could have acquitted on something else. And I think one of the things, like you said, Pierce, is that they really focused on the free will, and they had plenty of evidence to back that up. You know, all the text messages saying, I can't wait for the freak off, you know?
Right.
I mean,
but I found, listen, as somebody, you know, just looking at it with a journalist eye, I found that pretty persuasive for the defense. You know, and again, I think it comes back. I mean, I'll bring Matthew back in here. The reason I mentioned the changing mood really about these kind of stories is that I think that people have become a little bit more cynical about cases where women have stayed in touch with the alleged abuser in a very loving and apparently very consensual way for a long period after the abuse is said to have happened. And then you add in the fact that there was a big settlement, Cassie took all that money, and so on and so on. You know, I think when you put it all together, a lot of people may feel differently now than they would have done, you know, in 2019, 2020.
Now, first of all, R. Kelly got convicted because he was screwing kids. That's the big difference. To equate R. Kelly with Puff, it's wrong and it's silly and it's nonsensical. R. Kelly was guilty of screwing around with kids. No time 50 years ago or 50 years from now will that be okay. This was a bad case. You know, no one believed Cassie. Here's all you need to know. Every single count in which the credibility of the alleged victims was put into question, the jury came back 36 times and said not guilty. Every single case, every single charge that had anything to do with Cassie or with Jane, the jury absolutely did not believe them, found them to not be credible, even to the extent to convict someone who's on a video beating the living snot out of the woman. That tells you all you need to know about the case. The media and people, lawyers, plaintiffs' lawyers who wanted to sue him said, oh, she's so convincing. It's hard to feel sorry for a woman who's instructing a sex worker on how to urinate in their mouth and telling her how to do it. And the Punisher, who I think is just an absolute star, explained this in to such a point of view. I threw my hands up Because I literally go, I don't know, you can't have better testimony than that, other than when Jane said she thought that P. Diddy was a cuckold. And if the prosecution, if they didn't think they had to do it, the defense didn't think they had to do it, they could have called, any head of the human sexuality department and said, tell us about the swingers lifestyle, tell us about water games, tell us about this, put it on the videos. That's clearly what it was. We don't have to guess because the jury has told us they believed what the defense team put out there. And Tenny Garagos from the very beginning set the stage for this, the tenor. This is all consensual. It's nothing coerced. And the jury believed every single word of it.
Yeah.
The 2 convictions are just based upon plane tickets and receipts. That's all. It literally didn't need any testimony from any of the 2 alleged victims. And I don't know why we're calling them, well, other than the videotape. In this case, they were found not to be victims. They were found to be incredible witnesses, and the evidence from their own mouths and their own fingertips and their own text messages proved that they shouldn't be believed, and the jury obliged them and didn't believe a word they said.
Yes, true. Ariel, in terms of the women you represent with civil actions against Sean Combs, how much will this verdict affect those? I mean, does it make it more difficult now to win a civil case?
Before I get into that, I want to just address this verdict really just goes to show how much women are really truly not believed.
What if they're not telling the truth? Many of us carry around bulky, worn-out wallets that are uncomfortable and full of junk. The big question is why. Ridge wallets can hold 12. No, you're cutting me off.
But who are you to tell somebody?
Well, who are you to tell a jury of 12 Americans?
But
you're implying. Hang on, Ariel. Hang on, Ariel.
20 years ago, but you're cutting me off. So
you're cutting me off.
20 years ago or 10 years ago, as you just said, there was a movement with Me Too where women were actually starting to be heard, and now we're just going back to regular status quo.
No, that's not true. No, hang on.
Hang
on one second. I was going to say, Ariel, just to be clear, they have been heard, right? They went into a criminal court.
I said believed. I said we are back.
Can you not interrupt me, given you didn't want me interrupting you? Thank you. They have been heard for 6 weeks, and they weren't believed. So it's not a question of women not being heard. They've had their chance to try and prove their case, and so much evidence came out which contradicted what they had to say, including very powerful evidence from the Punisher, who I'm about to interview. But this idea that somehow this is about women being silenced, not being heard, and so on, the complete opposite has happened. And what you're actually doing is you're saying this jury of 12 Americans didn't know what they were doing or had some weird desire not to listen to women. It seems to me they listened very carefully to the evidence and they've reached a conclusion they didn't believe these women. And you know what, Ariel? Sometimes women lie.
I'm not saying, but okay, who's saying that people lie? Women or men? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So we all know that.
So why are you saying it's a throwback to when women weren't believed?
Women are not being believed. So there were 8 men on a jury who, again, I'm saying to say they heard them, I don't think they did. So believe them definitely, because you can't believe somebody if you not truly are listening to them. Why? Because you're
that's
never
an outrageous slur. You've got no evidence they didn't listen to them.
No man on this panel, all 3 of you, will never be in a position of any woman in any scenario where you can be taken advantage of, where you can be literally abused and then not be heard and be believed after the fact. So I'm just saying there are 3 men who will, and 8 men on that jury who will never know what it's like. And instead of trying to understand the position that a woman could be in, and a woman like Cassie and a woman like the other Jane Does who testified in this matter, they completely disregarded it.
No, they didn't. They didn't disregard it. They didn't believe it.
I'll circle back to your question.
They didn't believe it. And what you're doing, you're basically saying no man can ever be on a jury fairly in a case like this. There's no evidence to suggest that whatsoever. The evidence was the evidence on the evidence. Ariel. On the evidence that was presented, if I'd been on that jury, I'd have come to the same conclusion.
A man, I would assume a man would.
Actually, most women I know who studied the evidence properly also reached that conclusion.
And it's some men I talk to who reach the opposite. So I'm not saying any men or all men, because every person is different. But what I'm saying is men in general who don't, the men who I know who do understand had women who experience that like their mothers. So they experience that in tandem with their mothers. So they have a better understanding of how abuse works, how the cycle of abuse works, how women typically go back to their abusers. But outside of that, you asked me about how did this affect my clients and our cases moving forward. It does not. This case had no effect and would have no effect. We have our own bars that we need to meet in terms of the preponderance of the evidence that we need to reach in our cases. And we are also glad, just in the same voice with Mrs. Ventura, that Diddy will be going to jail. He has skirted, and for there to be this assertion that Diddy has been this law-abiding citizen who hasn't been through this multiple times before. This is really just the only time he got caught up.
Okay.
So I think all of that will affect him, and we are very happy to see him be convicted. We are very happy to see what type of jail time he faces, and we are more excited to litigate our cases against him.
Okay. Final word to you, Bruce, just quickly.
The women's cases were heard. They had to withstand scrutiny. The jury, that included women, were unanimous in the rejection of their story. Simple as that. And he is going to get some significant prison time, and he's already done significant jail time. So, you know, hopefully he engages in other behavior, not so risky.
Yeah, I agree. Panel, thank you.
If numbers don't lie, it's 30. Let me say this. If numbers don't lie, it was 36-0. 36-0 in the counts in which the women jurors and the male jurors were asked, do you believe what Cassie and Jane Doe say? 36-0 said, we do not believe him.
Yep.
Since she's the one that just said men lie, women lie, numbers don't. There goes your numbers, shorty. All right. Now she's got a stack of civil cases against Diddy. I don't know if I would be comfortable with her being my civil suit attorney. I'm not sure. I definitely wouldn't want to be living under the same roof as her, my woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I don't want to fuss and fight with somebody that thinks like that. Here's the thing. We have done a decent job of that even over here. We're not lawyers. We're not experts. We're just a humble little Sorry It's True podcast. But I think we've done a good job of saying, look, man, as far as how I feel or we feel about Diddy, it's over here. As far as how we feel about this case, it's over there. She clearly personalized this when she says things like, we are going back to a time when women can't be believed or can't be heard. We went backwards as a people. And that's what happens with some of these big cases, right? And I'm kind of let down to see that an attorney personalizes the moment as a woman to this degree, opposed to personalizing the law. So that's the red flag to me on her as an attorney. Okay. So I can never trust, if I had to fight against her, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get now into what I feel is the truth about the verdict and why people are upset. So when I say people are upset, ladies, don't get mad at me for this, but I think from what I've seen on social media yesterday, there's more of an outrage from women, and there's a justification there. It's once again that fucking hotel video, right? So people see that video, people hear all the nasty, disgusting, abusive things that Diddy has done, peeing in people's mouths and forcing them to have sex while they're on their periods, and while they have UTIs, still pushing for the freak offs and all that. Disgusting person. So you look at him and you say, I want you convicted of all of this shit, the RICO and all that. I want you to throw the book at him. And I understand that. I understand that because I like to put myself in other people's shoes, people. You know how we do up here. If that was my daughter, which was one of his, I guess, air quotes, victims, right? Alleged victims, I would want the book thrown at his ass too. Okay. That's me leveling it. But the overtone of man versus woman, I think some of the elements is this, and shout out to Miss Abby. I'm going to come your way in 1 second. I think one of the biggest overtones here is when you say, and Piers Morgan said it. What was the words that he used? He said freeloader, right? He said freeloaders. Okay. That element becomes massive in a person's psychology about how they feel about either side of the verdict. Freeloader. We say this is a man's world, right? You walk around in society, even when you want to use numbers, because we say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. When you want to use numbers, statistically, men dominate the earth, right? How we're paid, the positions that we hold, the ranks that we hold, the ownership, the amount of all of that. Men are the dominant force on earth, right? And you walk into the average traditional household, it's king and then queen, okay? Traditional. I'm not saying everybody's traditional. I don't want to step on any toes here. Just stay with me, okay? A man does not look at another man. I'm going to go to the ladies in a second. A man does not look at another man, i.e. Diddy, and wants to see him taken by somebody who isn't the dominant force in the situation, or the earner, or the provider. So when we hear Piers Morgan use words and terms like freeloader, a man is going to have a problem with that. So when you look at the Cassies and the Janes of the world, the evidence that came out, you got text messages, you got audio, you got emails, you got cash gifts, jewelry, cars, rent, trips, spanning years of length of this relationship. I can cut on YouTube and find a million videos you guys walking up and down the red carpet, smiling together, saying that this is fresh off of a freak off last night when we took this picture at the MTV Awards. A man does not want to look at that, Diddy, for example, and say, you provided all of this, right or wrong, to Cassie or to Jane, and we want to see her now overtake all of that. This is another reason why the average man has a problem with seeing a woman that didn't bring anything to the table but got married, stayed with this man for X amount of time, kids in the equation or not, and then at the divorce, she leaves with half the house assets, the cars, the money. We look at the system. We know the men get dragged over the coals. The women are at a up in that area. Statistically, men don't like to see that. They don't like to see that. So that could also be embedded in some of the psychology of the male jurist. Now let me go to the female side. You're right. I could never step in the shoes of a woman. Women, I can't ever 100% represent y'all. But I will tell you about some of my experiences with some of the women that I've encountered over the years. A regular working woman does not identify directly or root for directly the Cassies or the Janes of the world either. You want to know why? Women, they don't want to be called out as haters. They don't want to be looked at as like, oh, you just jealous that I'm all the way up here and you over there running back and forth to your 9-to-5 that only pays $35,000 a year, right? You don't want to be looked at as haters. But up here, you're not going to find too many women that are independent, that got it out the mud, that got it on their own, that are going back and forth to their 9-to-5 jobs, that are single mothers, single parent homes, holding down the fort with a child or children without the father there. You're not going to bump into too many of them women and find them rooting for the woman that was genetically gifted as physically attractive in today's society that gets cherry picked by the billionaire and says, come take this walk with me. Women that I described, they're not rooting for her, whether they tell you or not. They're not. They're not rooting for her because they look at her and say, hey, I'm not mad at you. Live your life. You got a good man. You got a man that'll protect you, a man that'll provide for you, security out the ass. Look at the mansion. Look at the cars. Look at all the diamonds that you're walking around with that he bathed you in. Beautiful. Go ahead, sis. Do your thing. You got one. You landed a good one. But what do you do? Ooh, that's my transition. What do you do? Shorty, what do you do? What's your talent? What did you bring to the table? Were you in a career prior to meeting this billionaire? Or did he snatch you off a back page? Jane. Were you a single mother holding it down, making it work? Or were you just grabbed off of the strip in Miami? You know, were you a hardworking 9-to-5er living check to check, getting it out the mud for real? Or are you the long hair over your right side of your face, pretty Filipino, eye-looking, physically specimen, tight body woman that 50 and Diddy said, "Ooh, that's my type"? Which one were you? What do you do? So when I say the what do you do, I've referenced this a lot over the years, and it's such a classic example because when we talk about the what do you do's, I think the Amber Roses of the world, and I don't want to take all the credit for her because I know she's done some stuff, but the Amber Roses of the world pop in as an example. And when Murder Mook did the whole "What do you do" freestyle, and then they had the type of discussion that they had, look at what Amber Rose, as a spokesperson, the person that's out there doing slut walks, look what she represented for y'all. Take a look at this. Take a look at this.
Having no talent is a new talent. I gotta throw my
Why niggas getting famous just because they views piling? We'll get all the views. Violence, stupid new challenge, whole lot of ignorant dudes on a new
Hacking the algorithm however you
chicks
can.
getting booked for 2,000 because they posted nude style. And think about it, having no talent.
She mad.
I saw a bitch on red carpet. I said, "Tell me what you do." She said, "I'm pretty. I pierce my clit, my titties, my belly button too. I twerk for the gram. My videos get a hella bunch of views." That's very fucking cool. But tell me what you do. It's disgusting. Hoes winning be the image they pumping. Bitches getting famous or famous niggas they fucking. But it's the nigga fault they getting
Period.
caught.
She's co-signing.
End of discussion. You can't blame the hoes. At the end of the day, them bitches is hustling, man.
Period. You hear her?
But like that's
You hear
the
her?
real shit though.
That's your question.
That's right. She's guest host today. I forgot.
But what's the problem?
As far as what?
No, I'm saying, but what's the
It's
problem?
over. It's already over. Just pay attention to words. She's in the background. Period. 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 And then her first thing that she says when he stops rapping is, "But what is the problem?" It's over. But let's keep playing.
Problem.
That nothing. I ain't have a problem with none of that shit. I just report the news.
Okay, but you just freestyling.
I just having no talent.
But
the
do you
new
believe
talent.
it?
As having no talent is the new talent?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but is it a problem?
Is it a problem?
Yeah. Like, do you feel some type of way?
No, it's aspect.
But I
of it.
just feel like guys should not just never talk about women
as far as
everything. Like it should never be a conversation. Like, okay, let's say like me, Kim Kardashian, Jada, Ari. Like it should never be a conversation amongst men because it's like you have to then blame the consumer, right? Because these girls
You're making it worse.
are like known as like not having talent, but like we make a lot of money.
well, no, I don't even. Well, you just showed me you was talented, so that's kind of like.
No, I get it, right? But like, so let's say
Like
like
this discussion. Keep it
No, this is a
respectful.
good discussion.
Everything
no,
respect.
It's a real
it's
discussion.
respect. It's always
It's
respect.
love.
It's always
Yeah.
respect.
This, but
right?
But this
I mean,
is why it
it's
should be
being
a
addressed.
conversation.
It's a
Right.
conversation.
Right.
It should be.
I just feel like when it comes to men, right? And
Yeah.
it's like hoes and all that, right? But like y'all stick y'all dick in everything, but then you call us hoes for the consumer loving us.
Everybody's a hoe, right? Okay.
It got weird.
Abby, once again, I got you. Chat. Ladies in the chat, are you okay with her representing your lifestyle? You as a woman, as a mother, as a provider, as an independent person, as a career woman, like all these. Are you cool with her representing y'all? Only ladies. Only ladies. How do you feel about Amber Rose's position right there? And can she represent y'all? Do you appreciate her response, her reaction, her breakdown? And like how do you feel, ladies? I'm curious. I got a nah here from Sassy. Sassy says, nah. Abby with another soup. I owe you. The age gap was a problems from their beginning. Her parents should have stopped it from the start. They all benefited from this status. Free will is a beautiful thing. Best wishes to all. Amber, no. Abby, I'm going to come back to that even more in a second. Oh, look at some of the fellas. Some of the fellas in here say, ladies ain't loud enough. The fellas looking at the chat like, ladies. Don't get scared now, ladies. All right, but either way. What is this? She literally named all loose women. Did you hear her answer? Right? Thank you for that, Sassy. And she said, but do you have a problem with it? She co-signed his rap. She said, I get it. Y'all stick out, but y'all are mad because we become popular. Like, does it bother you that we're known for having no talent, but we make a lot of money? And there lies one of the problems. I broke down the guy's side. On the woman's side, women once again, that are out there earning for themselves or put themselves on or put themselves in position to a degree, whether they admit it or not, they don't really root for the Amber Roses of the world. You know, they don't really root for them in that sense of like, yeah, you got all of that and you did nothing for it except for be beautiful. Check. Let me pull this up too. I'll pull it up on the side. I'm not even gonna have to bother y'all with it. Once again, Amber Rose, when you ask the question, but what do you do? Most of us met her through Kanye West. You was Kanye West's Fashion Nova side woman, girlfriend, whatever. Nothing wrong with that. Like a couple, you know what I'm saying? Like a celebrity doesn't have to marry somebody that's also a celebrity or befriend or have a girlfriend or somebody that's also a celebrity. It could have just been a regular woman to us. Not a problem, right? I remember over time, though, I can tell you what Amber Rose's pussy looks like. Never met her in person. Those pictures is on the web. Videos of her is on the web. All her personal business and what she likes, what she doesn't like is on the web. She's out here formulating slut walks or whatever. And the more and more we got knowing of who she is, the only thing that we saw was she tends to be around celebrity, rich, famous people. She was given a couple modeling gigs, I think. I think she did some modeling. I think she did a bunch of music videos. It's kind of in that same stereotype arena, right? I'm not trying to belittle that stuff. Women get, especially beautiful women, you want to model, go ahead and model. You know what I'm saying? But Amber Rose is worth $12 million. It has her at. I'm not hating. Beautiful. Get your bag, shorty. But her celebrity net worth lists her as $12 million. Now, if we take that down to percentages, what's the percentage of just being a millionaire? 1 million, right? To be a millionaire, that makes up 1.1 through 1.5% of global adults. If you are a millionaire, you are in a 1.1 to 1.5% bracket. Blessings to you. You are truly a rare breed. Okay. $10 to $50 million bracket, right? Different ball game. The $10 to $50 million bracket is 0.05.4% of adults. You are beneath 1% of existence of human beings on this earth if you earn yourself between $10 to $50 million. So that actually fits Amber Rose because she's between 10 and 50. Now, if you want to equate just the pure 12 million, it's 0.07% of the world. Now, people, we have to be careful. There's a big difference between trying to look at how to navigate this world financially and make your way towards your financial peak versus hating. Okay? We don't want to build any averbs over here. So if I see you earn your way to $12 million, my natural reaction is but as we stay in the context of the Diddy verdict, when you look at the Cassies or the Janes, somebody that has a $10,000 a month rent being paid by a billionaire, and you ask the question, what do you do? That's when the psychology of people start to turn and say, if you don't do anything of recognition other than be associated with the billionaire, right? The word earn comes in. Did you earn it? Did you earn it? Now, the definition of earn is flimsy. People could say, yeah, she earned it. She was in the right place at the right time. She made the right move. She made the right relationship. She networked with the right people. She went to the right places. She had the right conversation. Maybe she's charismatic. Maybe she was a good girlfriend. Maybe the sex is off the chain. Maybe niggas fall in love. You got all these qualities that still deserve to be put in the check column. I get it. But to be in the 0.07% of the globe and Murder Mook still got to ask you, but what do you do? This is why even the women of the world are not voting or rooting for Cassie and Jane directly. If there's consensual evidence coming on the fucking table, there's text messages and videos and emails and there's too much consent. So you look at it and say, I already don't even know what you do, Jane. Cassie, I know he put you in the studio once or twice. We know what the fuck that was, people. He put an album out for you. Okay, cool. No, nobody listened to that shit. Cassie didn't really have no talent like that. I watched her dance. I watched her sing. Trash. That's Diddy attracted to this woman and gifting her those type of opportunities. Let's not lie today. All right? Cassie's biggest attribute is her physical appearance. I don't know anything else that she does of talent caliber. Amber Rose, she damn sure can't speak. She definitely can't be a spokesperson for y'all. She just bombed the shit out of y'all here on Drink Champs. Got y'all women looking crazy. What does she do? What's the biggest thing for Amber Rose? Her looks, her physical attraction. Nothing wrong with it. And if your physical attraction can put you in a position to earn $12 million or be next to a billionaire, hooray for you. There's no haters over here. But I'm not going to root for you to bring down the person that put you there. That's the key. You get it? What do you do? Let me come back to Abby with the big gifts and the big comment statements or questions. Doe ruined the full chance for her currently getting her rent and lawyer services paid by Diddy. Most people see this whole situation as a money grab on all ends. I'm not mad. If look at the words that Miss Abby put here. Most people see this whole situation as a money grab. And on Piers Morgan, Shorty personalized it to a woman being taken backwards because he felt that she was being abused. We all agree she was being abused and that was disgusting and dirty. But as per the reasons why this man is being charged and the consent of these adults, it would have worked maybe differently if Diddy was broke. But you want to know the reality, people. If Diddy was broke, no Cassie is staying there for 11 years and no Jane is staying there for 3 years. If you got nothing for me while you beat the shit out of me or, air quotes, force me into a freak off. And this is why most people feel like this of what Abby put up there. Okay? So, people, be prepared to keep bumping into a bunch of upset from the verdict right now, but we must separate. Is it personalized, right, to them of, oh, I wanted this win for Megan, like the Tory shit. I want it, or do you want it because of the actual legal process of what somebody is being charged with? That lawyer up there on Piers Morgan's show is not able to separate the two, which is a letdown because she's a fucking lawyer. And the second one, once again, Miss Abby, was the age gap. Once again, they all benefited from his status. Free will is a beautiful thing. Best wishes to all. Amber, no. Thank you, Miss Abby. Miss Abby also put, people don't want to hear truth. Wake up. She obviously didn't. That civil lawyer on Piers Morgan's show, she didn't. She hated it. She hated it. She brought up numbers, and then dude killed at the end and said it was unanimous 32-0. Since you want numbers, there you have it. Anything else? Cashmere Black has been a member for 2 months. He said Amber Rose's mindset has changed since then. Good for her. Somebody's mindset might change a little bit better provided you become a mother, you mature, you get older, and you're up 12 million. You better change a little bit. At least a little bit. Come on. I mean, you want your child to see you out here doing slut walks? Period. But hold on. So y'all put y'all dick in anything. I mean, but yeah, so maybe you look at us like not having no talent, but We get money. So are you mad? I didn't say it. She said it. All right. Speaking of us, hold on before I transition over. What was this one? Just in case it's the same topic. Angel Diaz, appreciate the super, says, from now on, when going to a hotel to fornicate, make sure both attorneys are present for either side. Or you could do what Dave Chappelle did in his skit, the contract, the sex contract. And they're laying in the bed. That's actually art imitates reality. When he did that skit, I believe that there's a lot of NDAs and like these celebrities, they be on the road, they be on tours and all that. They pull in these groupies and whatnot and all this. I think there's a lot of NDAing. There's a lot of confidentiality. There's a lot of phone confiscation. The security guards take the cell phones or whatever, walk you up to the hotel room. And I think there's a lot of that going on. It just is what it is. But and once again, it's okay to be in a hotel with your lady, Angel. Just don't spend any money. We gave the whole Air Force One example yesterday as advice for people. Take her shopping, let her buy a pair of Air Force Ones and give her $10,000 to pay for it. Okay, there you go. It wasn't prostitution now. I was just giving her money to buy sneakers. All right, let's move on. The 16th day, shout out to Aver for making the thumbnail. This one is a short day. For Aver, I just wanted to document something. I just wanted to put something on the record. Keep it here on the channel for reference. I'm even going to take myself off the screen a little. No, I'll move myself to the other side. It's all good. But let me just let this play. Gotta have this.
These niggas have took countless amounts of fucking money, man. Like, and pretended like it wasn't there the whole time. Man. You niggas is gonna burn in hell, bro. Y'all was gonna straight burn in hell. This is insane, man. But I knew it was sheetrock though, right? Cause look, in our whole time of our relationship of knowing each other, it's like y'all on one side of the street, I'm on the other side of the street. We can meet in the middle, but I be looking at y'all like the Wolverine could take y'all. And y'all be looking at me like we'll have to take Verb, right? It's like a kind of, but I'm like, no, I know I can take y'all, man. I just never had a reason to. We just watched Norbes punch y'all in the face, man, and said, give me my motherfucking.
I know I could take y'all, but I never had a reason to. And now he explains why he has a reason to and what motivated him. Listen.
Money. And you just posted last week that what Norbes was saying was bullshit and said, give me my motherfucking money. And you just posted last week that what Norbes was saying was bullshit, man. You told Danny Myers to go on camera and say that shit, man. Danny Myers was on camera, man, saying that a different thing just to cover it up. You sent Danny out there, man. You posted from the Twitter that Norbes was all lies and you just fucking settled, man. You fucking liars, man. It's fucking the lie level that y'all go to is unnecessary, man. Man, we put our time in with you niggas. Beasley, I need you to get chlamydia ASAP. No, not chlamydia. You need something extreme. Herpes. I wish that upon you, Beasley. I ain't bullshitting, I do. I ain't gonna even hold you, cause I ain't no politician anyway, nigga. Let's Beasley. I need you to contract herpes in the next 4 to 6 days. I'll be patient. I'll give it a week if I got to, God. But he needs herpes, cause everything I asked for has been happening to me. God, Beasley needs herpes. Severe case. I need him with jingle bells hanging off his nuts, nigga. Hey, Beasley, I want you to have herpes so bad that it hurts when you cough, nigga. Please. And what do I got to do to get it? What do I have to do? Hey, look, some people not supposed to get too rich, like 50 Cent and me, right? but it's too late. Too many people synced me in the last week. I did 10 million. I went viral on a clip talking on Math Show last week. Them white folks said, "You shitting me? And he can do what? Get this motherfucker here." Y'all done? Beasley, I really want that for you, bro. I do. I do, Beasley. I don't wish no death or harm to you, but I want you to have an extreme case of herpes. I would love that. That would make me happy. For sure. I like that would make me happy. Guaranteed that will just give me a joy that you've never seen. People like this, the devil makes these people grow further, right? Hey, listen, for all you URL dick blowers, none of y'all are worth more than me, okay? I ain't called off. I'm always on time. 3 rounds showed up. I don't make mistakes. I take any fight anywhere you say the entire time. They never had to look for me or say I was late to an event. And these niggas, soon as they couldn't use me, they showed their color. But I am suing y'all though. So let's get that clear. I am suing the fuck out of y'all. Yes. So prepare yourself, nigga. Now, think it's a game. I'm suing y'all. I don't got time for this bitch ass shit, man. This is a bitch ass thing that y'all have done, man. This is a bitch ass. This is not even a real man's crime, bro. This is manipulation, lying, deception. These are whole problems, man. I sue these niggas, man. I ain't finna even argue with y'all, man. Like, this is ridiculous, bro. It's beyond ridiculous, bro. You just cashed out on Norbes multi-million dollars and he ain't rapped once. And you think that, nigga, I'm finna clean you, niggas. You got me fucked up. I'm telling y'all ahead of time. This case is won already. This an easy one. All that motherfucking gankings you niggas been taking from niggas. Y'all making almost $1 million a fucking month for real, and telling niggas you ain't got the money. Walking around acting like that shit ain't what it is. So won't nobody else come trying to compete, man. Y'all niggas are going to hell, bro. Y'all going to hell, bro.
Let me just scroll down. This was audio from Verb Spaces that was documented. Shout out to Battle Rap Trap 1 year ago on their channel, right? Look at this first comment. Verb, if you were paid the amount you agreed to, you don't have a case, sir. I'm just going to read the first comment and leave it alone. I just wanted to show where the video came from. Or where it's posted right now. I didn't doctor this. I didn't create this. I didn't post this. This was Verb Spaces. Once again, already documented a year ago on YouTube. Similar approach. Hitman post 456. You see some money. I didn't know RBE or Hitman or might have had some money that maybe I'm entitled to, or maybe I can get a part of, or maybe I want as well, right? Because you feel like you mentioned, I show up, I rap. You don't got to find me. I take whoever you give me. That's the pay verb part of it, right? That makes you entitled, right? But like the first comment of that video, you sign a contract, you take an agreement, you got paid what you got paid. If the league, if I throw an event right now and I pay a verb $30,000 or $1,000 in a contracted agreement, but the stream goes crazy, or I promote it well, or I put the rest of the card together well, and it's just lightning in the bottle, and I make $5 million, should Aver be able to turn around and say, I want more money? No, you want to have those opportunities for either taking the L's or taking the bigger wins. Go start your league, right? You want to be a contracted artist to be paid to show up and rap and perform 3 rounds versus an opponent for an agreed upon price. That is what you want to do for a living, sir. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a great thing to do. So shut the fuck up. But he saw Norbes' lawsuit, and once again, I keep saying this and referencing it in recent streams. I said, let me document it on the channel and put the actual video up of when he said this. He said, oh, no. Y'all allegedly. paid Norbes all this money. Oh hell no, I'm fitting to take you now too, because I just saw Norbes allegedly get some money. I just saw Hitman allegedly get some money. Oh no. That means I should get some too. I need some more. I'm finna sue y'all. This is easy. Case is already won. This is manipulation and deceit. Because you got negotiated to get paid what you got paid. Because you accepted $1,000 for Jim's or $2,000 for Bonnie. What are you talking about? Talk about a broke opportunist. I just don't. I don't think that men should be raised like this. You can see somebody pop up allegedly with a check, and it makes you go, oh, fuck that. I'm gonna sue that person because I used to rap over there too. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I just want to make sure that we know who he is. Okay, let's move on. Just wanted that documented. It was more about that video being documented already out there in internet world that came 100% from Verb. All right. You see Drake in the thumbnail. I told y'all in the intro this was more indirectly about Drake. Can Akademiks make a bounce back? Can he be looked at as a unbiased person, or can you never return because you've done too much and now it just looks like you have no choice but to get a little bit more on the side of the win? Peep him going, yeah, him and Drake is gonna fuck around and diss him on his next album.
I'm sorry to tell y'all. I like Drake. I think that lawsuit's dumb as shit, bro. Like, I don't care what y'all niggas say. I think it's dumb as shit. Like, it's a stupid ass lawsuit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, I would have rather him sue Kendrick. Just sue Kendrick. Like, bro, it's a stupid ass lawsuit. Like, this lawsuit to me is about what could be said in this song. I love diss songs. I like when niggas say, I want to dig your mama up and piss on her, nigga, and bury her again. That's my type of diss songs. I sit here and I listen to the most heinous songs in the world. I'm sorry. Calling you a certified pedophile is not worse than Who I Smoke, not worse than any King Von. So I'm sorry. That's the type of songs I like. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I think those songs should stop. I'm not. The fuck are you thinking? No. Now, if we're only going on the element of, yo, should Drake still file a lawsuit, but make the point to say you value, like, don't tell me about the nigga calling you a pedophile, but tell me about how you're devalued in your negotiation. Like that, if you want to be transparent with that, be like, yo, they will offer me $500 million, now they offer me 200. And I think they did that. I want to hear y'all fight that out. That's cool. I ain't got no problem with that. But I love this songs. I love when niggas say the worst thing about a nigga. I like when a nigga say, yo, I want to kill your whole family. I want to see, I love when people like, yo, I'm going to smoke you and your dog. That's what I like. I'm sorry. These are what I like. I'm sorry. I told you, I think Kendrick should have performed Not Like Us 20 times. I've been in Toronto. What you talking about? I love this music. I love indictment music. That's my type of shit. So I'm not going to change this. I'm not changing how I feel about diss songs for Drake. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm telling you this. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, bruv, he has some valid points, but his valid points are not going to be what the fans are going to champion. Respectfully, if Drake lost out on $200 million, it's none of our business. He's not telling us how much he raps about it, but we're not in his contract negotiations. That's for him to fight about. That's not for fans to rally around. No matter if he wins or loses, he is not going to change the outcome of the battle. Why the fuck do we care? I don't care. What I care about is that when niggas is rapping versus each other, they can say, you a bitch. I wish your mama died. I wish I could kill you and your grand. Yes, I like that type of music. If you don't like it, sorry. Okay? But I like that shit. I just don't like, I don't want to hear, oh, he called me a pedophile and he defamed me. I don't want to hear that. Now, if you want to argue that this whole thing that the company tried to devalue you in a negotiation, I would love to see how that goes because I've never seen that being argued on a big level. But the only reason I care about that being argued is that I'm going to be up in your business finally. I would love to see what those contracts, we don't know what Drake contract looks like. He told us he got $400 million. We don't know. We don't know. We heard it on a fucking third quarter call in like 2021 from Lucian Grange. We don't know though. So I would love to be up in your business, but brother, like, I'm sorry. Like there is no recourse. Like this, the Kendrick battle is over. It's over, my nigga. It's over, bro. Like it's over, bro. Like it's over. Sorry. Like I don't want to hear, there's no lawsuit, bro. So like this lawsuit is like, there's grounds for it. There's grounds for it. I'm not saying it's not grounds for it. It's just that you're a fan. What the fuck do you care about if Drake get billion dollars or 200,000? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Like be a fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like this idea. When my thing is that if you support Drake winning like a fucking lawsuit against of defamation in a diss song, you better never tell me you're jacking no diss songs again. It's over. Because the diss songs I like, Not Like Us ain't that disrespectful compared to them. I like when King Von said, like, yo, I kill a nigga and dig him up until that nigga die again. I'm like, yes, that's what I love. I'm sorry. So again, brother, yo, if Drake got some gripes, but his gripes is y'all niggas devalue me. I would love to see how that play out, but I'm not going for defamation. Not going for defamation. I don't think when you diss somebody and you're in a rap battle, I don't think you can defame him. I think you can say anything in the world. And yes, something crossed the line, but that's when niggas start getting the shooting. I'm sorry.
Once again, better late than never. You done so much though during the Drake and the Kendrick battle. Me personally, I could never look at you as 100% genuine anytime you go anti-Drake in that type of manner. I think you didn't went to the Kendrick concert. You had that conversation with Dave Free. They approached you. You was in the energy of the Kendrick concert. You saw what it was like. You watched the concert. You watched the halftime show. You see how dominant this win is. The numbers are the numbers. He's charting all over the place. He's breaking all these records. He's pulling in historic tour numbers and all this type of stuff. And it's like Akademiks, like the last straw that you had is gone. And then it even becomes more personalized because you went and you was in it and you spoke to these people. Maybe that was the final straw, right? I don't think that Akademiks is going to lose sleep if, oh my God, so now Drake will definitely never stream with you. He already was curving the guy, right? I don't know. I don't really care about the extent of the Drake and the Akademiks relationship. I think it benefited Akademiks because he had a direct line to Drake in the midst of the biggest hip hop rap battle in history. Right. He became a hub during that fucking battle. He made hundreds of thousands of dollars during that. And some of that is backed by the fucking Drake fan base coming into his streams. So he benefited greatly off of it. Right. But now you trying to turn the Titanic, but you did too much. But lawsuit wise, I do 100% agree with him. As far as the defamation aspect, I don't got to go through all the rehashing that out. That's old news. We understand the impact that can have on battle rap as well as hip hop. We're not for it. It's bullshit. It's weak. It's corny of Drake to do. He's the guy that says, I study rap battles for a living. That whole shit is disgusting. Legally now, being that they're in court, and this is becoming way more relevant, Drake and UMG now. Legally now, when we talk about the devalue aspect, here is some of my questions. Shouldn't there be proof, numbers, and analytics and contracts and all this type of stuff going on that makes that more black and white? The whole devaluing of Drake, which is what he's alleging about UMG, why is that so gray? Here's why I'm assuming that there's supposed to be more black and white involved in that. First stop. Can you prove to me that negotiations for his new alleged contract was actually in the midst, was happening? Can you prove that to me? Because if you can't, UMG could just take a simple position and say, devalue you. We wasn't looking to re-sign you, right? How do you prove that I paid you $400 million on your last contract, allegedly, and I was about to pay you $800 million, but now, because I devalued you purposefully with Kendrick, I'm only trying to pay you $500 million. Like, that's the first step. Is there any proof that you guys were in negotiations and you guys were moving towards this next deal, right? 2, is there any proof showing what type of numbers would have been on the table from UMG, even if it was still under negotiations, right? Because if I'm Drake's lawyer, it does help me to be able to show, look at this email they sent a rough draft to my financial or my career attorney or whatever, saying, all right, this deal is going to be 800 million. But then after Not Like Us, they came back and they changed the number in it to 600 million, right? Is there any paperwork? Is there any numbers that's already out there that's going back and forth between the two that changed or not? 3, how is UMG not able to show analytically what they feel the numbers of Drake are with or without the Kendrick battle happening, right? Are they not able to show, like, okay, we gave him 400 million, and the way that worked out is all he does is he just goes out and works it down, works it off. He does tours, that comes to us. He puts out albums, that comes to us. He does engagements, that comes to us, right? And it took him 5 years to work that off, right? So even because of the time that it took for us to recoup, We expected it to be 3 years, but it took him 4.5 years, right? That's a reason why we lowered it, because we want our money back faster. Why is there not black and white because I know it's only day one, but when we went over the updates of the lawyers being in court now for UMG and Drake, what we were still focusing on was defamation. What we were still focusing on is the impact of those lyrics. What we were still focusing on was the judge quantifying the record Not Like Us and the lyrics in Certified Lover Boy. What did that mean? The average person out there that you're saying devalues Drake, hear terms such as Certified Lover Boy and understand that that's Drake's album. Remember when they was going back and forth with that when we did the read the other day? So they're still talking defamation. But defamation to me, especially the fact that Drake already engaged the battle, he inspired the battle, he was the first to shoot at Kendrick directly. He asked for Kendrick to come back and forth with him. He's the one that put out the pedal stuff and baited Kendrick into using it. That stuff existed before Kendrick in documentaries online, those allegations towards Drake already. All these fucking factors, even UMG throwing out there, let's talk about Roxanne and LL Cool J and Cannabis and Cool Herc. Let's talk about all these battles. This is hip hop. And Drake has had battles his damn self as well. Go look at Meek Mill. Go look at Common. Go look at Pusha T. All of this shit before Jay-Z, Subliminal. All this shit before his Kendrick battle. So the defamation thing to me is so fucking easy. Why are we not talking about what the big piece is? Because if Drake could get in there and prove, we were talking about 8. My last shit was 4, and then after Not Like Us, they offered me 5. That would then equate to a loss of $300 million versus me being devalued. The devaluing piece is the bigger piece to me. That's what the judge could decide on damages. No, a jury can decide on damages. Well, actually, the jury would decide who wins it, and then the judge, I think, decides the actual damages. But that's the big money. They're saying it's a culprit from the defamation, but I think that's the easy piece to show, considering Drake's history and hip hop's history and all what we just said. Is there any black and white about the devalue and the negotiations and the numbers? If I'm UMG and I have that type of stuff, I make this very fast. I make this very easy, and I have black and white to put down on the table. I don't know why he said that we devalued him. Look at the contract that we sent him during negotiations. We didn't sign it yet. We were just going back and forth, ironing out the details. We offered him 400 before. This one was 450. So how do we devalue him? Oh, because he wanted a 25% markup. We don't agree with that. Is that why he's saying we devalued him? Because he wanted a 50% markup and we only wanted to add another 50 million on top of the last deal? That to me is critical. No? That's got to come out. If it doesn't, and it remains gray, that leans more to Drake. What attorney wouldn't want to fight those angles? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Shout out to Drake and UMG. All right. Speaking of rappers, let's move on to Complex put out a top 50. I don't want to make this too long. Do we agree? Do we disagree? Let's go to the bigger one here. Okay, here you have it. Top 50. Oh, New York rappers of all time. My bad. I thought it was going to be a top 50 of all time. No, this was New York. All right. Top 50 New York rappers of all time, according to Complex. Number 1. What do we got? Who do we got? I got Jay-Z. I'm totally fine with that. And that's my vote as well. Jay-Z, number 1. Biggie, you can't be number 2. He's got, wait, was the double disc out? He was already passed away when the double disc came out, The Life After Death. He's got one studio album, right? No, that's still a studio album, Life After Death 2. Everything after that was like put together. Yeah, 2 albums. His impact is historic. It's timeless. He is a staple. He is a legend. He is one of our GOATs. He is a Hall of Famer. But his run, I don't think can be for number 2. His impact is like, Jesus. But I don't think that, I think that that's I know we elevate things when somebody passes away, but I can't give Biggie number 2. I can't put Big ahead of Nas. Nas is still in the field. This is 20 plus years or some shit of Nas. I can't put Big ahead of Nas. I just can't do it. But I like Big in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Notorious here. Rakim, you put him in the top 5, people will respect it because he is the God MC. The Jay-Z's of the world, you know, are coming from behind his doors. And he was the one that said, I am changing the style of rap. Y'all are going from the hip, the hop, the hippie, the hop. And I'm going to go to the, and it was like, whoa, right? LL Cool J, he was a first within his own right as well. 50 Cent deserves to be in the top 10, groundbreaking. Nicki Minaj being in the top 10 has got to be also part of her numbers, which are groundbreaking. But come on, a Nicki Minaj ahead of a DMX or a Busta Rhymes, when we just talk about as a New York rapper, she's got some epic verses like Monster and shit, but I think Nicki is in here more because of her numbers and impact, and that's not to be ignored. I just can't put her ahead of some of these people that's on this list. DMX 8, Busta Rhymes 9, KRS 1 10, Prodigy 11. Prodigy at times is underranked and at times overranked. I don't know if I got him 11. His HNIC and his Quiet Storm era, and then even before then, we were talking about just him and Havoc on the scene, and he's got all-time great records like Shook Ones, and like these are songs that are like some of the best hip-hop songs ever, right? I don't know. Little Kim, I've always struggled to put Nicki Minaj ahead of Little Kim. Maybe that's just me. I don't got a Nicki Minaj album ahead of that Pink one where Little Kim is on the cover, covering her chest, and she ain't got no shirt on, and her hair's wild and all that. That's the album that got Do What You Like, and go ahead and fight, and fuck tonight. Like that shit, right? That song, when she comes on that track, boy, she shut that song down. I got that album ahead of every, and she's got one of the best female verses, if not the female verse of all time. Hey, what the? Want to rumble with the what? I don't got Nicki ahead of, yeah. The Nicki thing is a numbers thing. I'm not trying to hate on Nicki, but that's a numbers thing. Ghostface, you know, I move in front of a lot of people. It's Ghost, man. That's not a Staten Island thing. MF Doom might be a little bit too high for me. I can't put an MF Doom in front of a Big Pun or a Jadakiss or a Cameron. I can't. That's just me. Big Daddy Kane. I like to see Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One and Rakim and Kool G Rap. Sometimes I like to see them close around each other on any list. When I see a list that got Rakim 4, and once again, we know why people be putting Rakim in top 5, so I'm not mad. But then you go higher up on the list, and here goes KRS-One, and then you go all the way around the corner, and here goes Big Daddy Kane, then you go all the way down the block into another neighborhood on the list, and there goes Kool G Rap. I don't like that. Maybe that's just me. Slick Rick, okay. Meth 21. Meth is the most impactful Wu member. He's the biggest star out of the Wu. Chuck D, I think that's a respect thing. I don't think he's ahead of some of the people that's on this list. I don't got Cardi B in the top 25. No fucking way. Not when you guys are about to show me some of the other people that's on this list. Oh my God, I see a Styles P over here. Get the fuck out of here. How dare y'all? How dare y'all? Cardi B can't be 25. I'm sorry. Raekwon. Pop Smoke, we love him. Rest in peace. He's not 27. He's not 27. There's no way you get a Pop Smoke in front of somebody like a Mace who ran the fucking game. Harlem World is up there. Harlem World, if you go back to those times, I don't know how people's memories really are, but if you go back to the times of the Harlem World album and when Mace was on the scene, he might have had one of the biggest hip hop moments ever. And his album, what? I had a shiny denim outfit. What was it? Guess? Was it a Guess outfit? It wasn't like the More Money, More Problems video type of shiny, right? But I'm trying to find a picture, put it on my Instagram or some shit, a throwback. These niggas, him and Diddy led the way of clothes being a little bit more shiny, B. His shiny was bigger than pink as far as what Cam did. You put Pop Smoke ahead of Mace? You put Pop Smoke ahead of Big L? You put Pop Smoke ahead of Cool G Rap? Complex, man. This is where people put other factors in. He passed away and we love him. We love Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke was moving in a dope direction, just like a King Von, right? And the Welcome to the Party was a big hit. But there's a lot of people that come along and have big hits. And he had a couple other ones as well. Dior was a big song in the clubs. These are moments, right? I can listen to Welcome to the Party 10 years from now in the club. But shit like More Money, More Problems and the type of shit that Mace got is timeless. It's your kids will know about some of Mace's shit. To me, I think Big L gets lost a little bit, but come on, this guy put out Ebonics. I hope y'all rap heads is with me when I'm talking about some of this shit. Like a Big L 29. So you got people like Cardi B in front of Cool G Rap, Big L, Mace, Raekwon, Fab. I like Fab high up on lists. Fab is like, I don't know how he doesn't have a way more bigger respect. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not respect. Maybe it's presence. I don't know. Fab, go to Fab's Instagram. He's in high demand. He lives on the road, and it's always big shows, big rooms. Go to his Instagram and look at what Fab has consistently been doing for the last 5-10 years alone. He's got hits. We're never going to forget moments like Breathe. He's got albums. He's got classic mixtape series. How about I give y'all this one? How about this? Jim likes to claim the fashion thing. Kanye does as well. How about this take? The lead fashion person in hip hop history for me is Fab. None of y'all niggas from hip hop, not Kanye, not Jim, not none of these niggas consistently over the years put that shit on better than Fab. That's my take. Fab kills Jim in fashion and throwing that shit on and putting that shit together, right? But clothes ain't supposed to be a big part of it. I'm just saying, I'm just in a Fab moment here. Fab always deserves a little bit more than I feel like we tend to give him. You know, people, there's a pocket of people out there that feel like Fab is Jay-Z's second coming, just like the scale of Jay-Z, Fab will never reach. He's not there. The numbers, the impact, the influence, the sales, the money, all that. Fab will never come anywhere close. But just as far as his mannerisms, his rap, his consistency, his aura, people always felt like he was like a small second coming to Jay. You know, not early on when he still wrapping a fucking napkin around his head. I'm talking about fast forward as he matured and got deep into his career. Jizza, Foxy Brown. I've always had Kim ahead of Foxy, but Foxy is a big deal. ODB, I'm a Staten Islander man, and ODB can't be at 35. He can't. He's got to be moved back. He's got hits. He's got his Brooklyn Zoos. He's got his Shimmy Shimmy Yas. Some of these are time. Hey, I got your money. Don't you worry. He's got timeless hip hop classics. And we revere him and we hate the fact that we lost him. Right. But ODB is not ahead of some of these people. I can't put ODB ahead of. Oh, wow. This is about to sound crazy of what I'm about to say. This is about to be a wild take. Yeah, they're going to flame me for what I'm about to say. They're going to flame me for what I am about to say. But I think I'm right. On an all-time list, when you consider things like impact, longevity, albums, classics, numbers, everything, Ja Rule is ahead of Old Dirty Bastard. But we killed Ja Rule because of what 50 Cent did to him. Let's be real. It's what 50 Cent made us, how he made us look at Ja Rule. Right? He made us hate Ja Rule for singing, and then 50 Cent started coming around with the candy shop. Ja Rule's, he's got some big numbers. He's got platinum plaques, doesn't he? He's got some of the biggest. Who did he do his verses with? Who did Ja Rule do his verses with? Because Ja Rule got hits. Ja Rule verses. Who did he do his verses with? Damn, I can't find it that fast. Was it Fat Joe? He did with Fat Joe? That's good for Fat Joe. I think Ja Rule with his hits could even go above a Fat Joe for verses. Oh yeah, and then they both had Ashanti coming out for both of their sets. Yeah, okay, I remember that. I'm just saying, Ja Rule is he's ahead of overall. He's ahead of some of these people. Okay, MC Light, dope to see her on there. Nori, dope to see him on there. Kumo D, yes, belongs on there. ASAP, Sean Price, shout out to Sean Price. Melly Mel, Grand Pooba. Styles P being 46 is fucking insane. Insane. Styles P should possibly be top 25. Looking at who's out of the 25 and who's in the 25, I put Styles P over Mos Def. Mos Def got a dope acting career. Mos Def is such a dope actor. He needs more credit for his acting skills, but it's Styles P. It's Styles P. I'm not taking Slick Rick overall over Styles P. I know what Slick Rick did. I know his impact. I know he comes from that era that we just revere. But when I look at the breadth of hip hop all the way up into today, Styles P moves up. Diddy, they got Diddy on the list still, 48. Would Diddy be higher if he wasn't in jail by the time they created this list? Well, he's still in jail now, but Pharoah Monch, 49. I don't want to see Ice Spice on any list. Ice Spice number 50. Once again, that's today's modern appeal type of thing, I think. And yeah, so there's some big call outs on here, but every list does that. So we're not gonna get our boxes in a bunch, people. You know what I'm saying? But there's some shit out here that is heavily called out. All right. It is what it is. I just brought this on while I was playing a video earlier. I was scrolling my phone and I saw this. Follow up to yesterday. Wack 100 is addressing his cop badge that allegedly popped up on screen by accident. Let's see what he's saying. So the internet got him responding, huh? Let me see.
Don't tell nobody. Y'all don't tell nobody. Shout out to all my ops. Y'all thought you had me. We got them. Y'all got to be goofy. Let me tell you something. I've been manipulative, slick, evasive, intelligent, silent, exciting all my life. Whatever button I want to push. Big dummies. First and foremost, I'm an ex-con. Right? You got to pass a written, a physical, and a background check to have a police badge. Right? Y'all see the imprint? You see the wear on this? The wear? Been in my back pocket for a while.
How do you have it?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How do you have it?
Guys, you want 2 more glasses of wine? Shout out, man. They say I had a badge. Badge. Of course I got a badge. Here go the thing. Thing is called being connected. Either you connected or you're not. You get what I'm saying?
That's
Mason brothers, They got little stickers they put on the back of their window. You know what I'm saying? With no jumper that they ain't flash my badge on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying that I switched wallets. See this wallet? See how worn this wallet is? See the badge? Badge. So that's the badge right there. That's the badge part right there. So, yeah, I got a badge. Shout out.
So I definitely don't buy that he flashed out on accident. It was in conversation. I don't think that it was an accident. I mean, he does do a lot of schemes on the internet for traction and whatnot. You can't put anything past him. He is top 5 level. Maybe he would do a fake ankle monitor as well. You never know, right? What fucking Wack 100? He just wants to be in the algorithms. But as an ex-con walking around with a badge in your wallet, I don't think that he explained why. Like you say, I'm connected, just like Freemasons got bumper stickers that show that they do what they do. Like you didn't explain to me fully why you're walking around with a badge. Now, if you want to play games with your badge, if you want to bump into the authorities and say, hey, I know somebody that knows somebody, but that badge said police officer, right? Hold on.
Oh man, they say I had a badge. Tell nobody. Y'all don't tell nobody.
Hold on. Let's see it again real quick. Pause it. Okay. Yeah. So it says clearly police officers, and then the top of it says police officer, and then you start to see the loss here in Los Angeles. So, I mean, y'all see that, right? On a big screen. So why are you walking around with that? How about this? Can you get your ass in trouble for impersonating an officer? Are you flashing it on people? That's a charge. Impersonating an officer is a fucking charge. So how about an explanation of why? I don't believe that you're a cop. I do agree with the like, all right, you're ex-cons or ex-convicts coming out and I mean, unless you're working, but if you're working, they don't give you a fucking badge, right? If you're working, an informant, right? But I can't interpret this any way else other than you like to do things where you flash it on people and act like you a cop. I don't know, maybe to get out of trouble. Maybe somebody run down on you right now. They catch you slipping. You're going to be like, yo, I'm telling y'all right now, don't kill a police officer. It's going to be worse if you kill a police officer. Hey, maybe I'm unfolding it right here live. Maybe that's the type of benefits you see in walking around with a fucking badge, that you can flash it in certain circumstances and get over on some shit. But once again, that you can get in trouble for impersonating a police officer. Shit, I remember in New York, a lot of people was getting their cars taken for having the flashing headlights and shit. You play around with the flashing headlights in New York? Nah. I used to have lights underneath my car. And I remember a cop getting a ticket for it was like purple and blue. And when you drive, it blended the colors of what I had. I had a Lexus RX 300, the Lexus SUV. I had lights underneath the shit. I had 4 TVs in it. I had a Rockford Fosgate subwoofer, 212s in the back, all with Fosgate amplifiers and focal highs in the doors. Ooh, he ain't lying. He ain't on no Verb shit. He said that shit. He had that shit. I got pictures and all that type. I know everybody know I was moving around even from young. You know what I'm saying? But I got a ticket for the lights underneath that truck one time, and it was just purple and blue. I remember one time an officer told me, he said, look it up. There's colors that are reserved for certain type of response vehicles. So I think like tow trucks like there's just certain colors that are reserved that you can get in even more trouble for. I don't know what's going on today, especially in New York. New York is crazy with cars. Lights, flashing headlights, big problem. I got noise pollution fucking tickets for loudspeakers. You know, New York is different. Tints, they'll kill you. And sometimes they'll try to fucking pull you out your shit and possess your car and call up a tow truck on the spot. They crazy in New York. But anyway, I would never walk around with no damn badge. If I can get in trouble for lights. I damn sure ain't walking around with no badge. Because if you get arrested and them cops start going through your fucking pockets and find a badge, that's a charge. So if you're so smart, Wack, and now you're letting the police officers know that you're walking around with a charge on you. That's a charge. Right? No, right? Just saying. Anyway, should we begin to follow this more deeply? It's a bigger topic, people. Shout out to Checks and Balances. This one was tossed my way. New lawsuit. So the podcast world is on fire after the feds reportedly picked up well-known podcaster Jonathan Dupiton, whatever, the voice behind the popular Rich and Unemployed podcast, in an alleged $10 million fraud case. So some of us recognize him, right? I recognize him. Seen him a bunch of times around, seen him on social media before. Definitely had a nice podcast running. Picked up by the feds for fraud in a $10 million shit. So these investigations don't be overnight. No different than Umi with the Hellcat, right? But here's the thing with Umi and the Hellcat. We saw in our faces millions and millions of dollars. We saw the cars, we saw the houses, we saw the businesses, we saw the cash, we saw the jewelry. Umi with the Hellcat put it all on Front Street for us to see. Now, the good thing about that, if you got legitimate money, is people like to vicariously live through other people. We love watching the MTV Cribs for a reason. You live vicariously through some of this shit that we don't have in our possession, right? So when Umi and the Hellcat was doing that, I understand why the YouTube channel, when him showing all that type of shit, does astronomical numbers. But are you showing the feds and the authorities shit that you shouldn't have? And then eventually they turned in his direction. Another example was Hush Puppy. Was he African, Nigerian, whatever? Him. He always was flaunting super duper, I shut the mall down type of shit. I shut the Louis store down. They didn't let nobody in. And I purchased $500,000 worth of Louis shit. Or here I am today on my private jet, and I'm flying back again on my private jet tomorrow. People know the prices of private jets, flying them that frequently. Some of your biggest celebrities say, I'm cool on that. That's too much money. Right? I'm wasting money, trying to fly private all the time. What else was he showing? The Rolls Royces, the Lambos, the Ferraris. The Hush Puppy went crazy on Instagram. Crazy. Showing us $1 billion probably. And the feds turned and said, what's that? Umi with the Hellcat. What's that? This guy right here, Rich and Unemployed. What's that? That's how it goes. Now, when I went to his social media this morning, I was curious, like, what's the feds really pulling off of his shit to start the initial investigations, right? Is it going to look like Hush Puppy or Umi with the Hellcat? So when I go to his YouTube channel, the name Rich and Unemployed, be prepared for them to use that in his case. How are you unemployed yet rich, right? It's a catchy name. It's a catchy phrase, but they're going to use it. Cut it out. He says he does on Mondays, Rich and Unemployed. Tuesdays, he's got an uncut show. Wednesdays, he's got an uncut live. Thursdays, he's got a late night special. He's always 9 p.m. Okay. Every other Sunday, he's doing a paperwork party. Okay. If I go to his videos, oh, by the way, he's got 256,000 subscribers. It's not a Hush Puppy or Umi with the Hellcat type of viewership I'm not seeing, right? 1.2 thousand views here, 697 views here, 3.6 thousand views here, 6.6 thousand views here, 14K, 10K, 4.3 thousand, 14K. So some of his more recent viewership is damn near like ours. Every once in a while he's getting some nice spikes here and there, but he's got humble videos, just like us. 3.2 thousand. Why love is not enough anymore.
I will go to the extreme.
I mean, I get that, but you remember how I told you I deflower men? You couldn't do that to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, no matter.
So I get the concept of looking at some of these titles, and I think he's got good content overall. Look at this one here, 226,000. That was 11 months ago. Oh, if this video was 11 months ago, he's definitely not that frequent on his channel. If this was 11 months ago and I can scroll that fast to get current, oh yeah, he's not uploading that. Is he live instead more? His last live was a year ago. All right, so I don't see anything crazy from his YouTube, even from a monetary standpoint. Okay, then, and this is the type of shit the feds do. I'm not trying to be the feds. I'm just using common sense. I found 2 social medias. This one, Finessers Only Club. That's not a good name. We know what a finesser is, right? It's not a good name. This one's got more followers than his YouTube channel, 456,000 followers. Okay. But if I just glance the post, do I see some lavish shit going on? No, I do not. This one right here, okay.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you some real shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't let this shit get to you, dog. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no pressure out there, man.
Stepping out the Escalade, okay. The driver puts the jacket on. This could just be a trailer. It could be a commercial. It could be a skit. It could be. This don't cost no real money. I mean, to do, whether you really own this or not. Whether you really. Anyway, let's keep going. Clones, podcast clips, highlights, podcast highlights, podcast stuff. I'm not gonna scroll forever, people. Okay. Oh, a gold chain. Uh-oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, a vacation. So vacations, okay, around a couple women. So I don't get it there from initial scrolling. He's got a second Instagram that I found real quick, right? I'm not seeing any hush puppy or any Umi with the Hellcat presentation thus far. What's this first one? Rich and Unemployed. Okay, yeah, this one's got 100,000 followers. All right, this one I think I saw this one. This one got a car in it. Okay, a Ferrari. Once again, could be owned, could be rented, could be leased, could be a skit, could just be for the video. Who knows? And there's also a lot of people that have Ferraris that don't necessarily have $10 million sitting in their savings account. So, all right. But more highlights from his show, just clips. I don't see it. So I'm curious if, and once again, shout out to Checks and Balances for throwing this in our chat. Hey, new lawsuit watch that could be interesting. And the reason why this is initially interesting to me, once again, multiple reasons. The first one, Rich and Unemployed, is that going to tie into something that the feds are laying grounds for, right? What are you showing on your taxes versus what we believe you really have? That's always big, okay? Then that's when shit like even tax evasion and whatnot comes. Big U is fighting one of those charges, right? So the Rich and Unemployed thing, the Instagram that says Finessers Club, the word finessers, right? Should I automatically just jump out the window and say, if they're coming at you talking about a $10 million ring and one of your social medias is called Finesser, you got some credit card shit going on or whatnot, I don't know. But I want to know how the feds were attracted to him. Because when I look at his YouTube, just at a glance, don't really see it. When I look at his social medias real quick, just at a glance, don't really see it. These people that put their whole billion-dollar lifestyle, illegal lifestyle on Instagram, I understand. Eventually they come in for hush puppy. I get it. But what makes them turn the direction of this guy? I want to know. Is there other people that were too loud? Is there a snitch? Is like, what happened? How did they just turn around and say, because if I can't figure that type of shit out, you know, I don't need me having my little pocket. I got a gold chain on right now. And Verb does a space one day and says, RBE be doing pay-per-views for the last 10 years, and they all average $5 million each in net revenue. And I should be laid up in a mansion from what URL and RBE never paid me. And then the feds turn to me and say, well, let's take a look. I mean, they could come. I'll give them every year my taxes. I don't play with Uncle Sam. I file my taxes accordingly. I'll show. I got receipts that show the money I put aside from taxes, even after max outs. I had to show that type of shit to my partners. Like when I built with the RBE team, okay, everybody was paid. The battle rappers, the venue, the security, the DJ, who else? What else? The security, the transportation, the flights, the hotels, the production crew, avocado, everything is paid. Now, what are we breaking down? We got $10 here. Right, let me use a better number. We got $1,000 here, right? ARP, you gonna get $2,000. Shotty, you gonna get $2,000. Lawrence, you gonna get $2,000. Wayne, you gonna get $2,000. That's $8,000, right? What are you doing with the other $2,000 ARP? Well, based on the percentage of taxes and New York state law and all that, blah, 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 where we file it, blah, blah, this $2,000 I'm putting on the side for taxes. Because you guys get paid out. And then when you guys go walk off into your regular and y'all file your own taxes, and some of us are using EIN, LLC and all that, blah, 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 it's all legitimate, right? EIN is tied to my fucking taxes of RBE's LLC. But when Uncle Sam rolls around and they see, okay, RapGrid reported up to the IRS how much they pay to RBE, because RapGrid don't want to be liable for all the money that comes to them. They want to show, no, this $1 billion that we got in 2024, we gave this piece to this person that did pay-per-views with us, this piece to RBE, this piece. They don't want to be liable for all of that. So when the IRS gets their report from RapGrid and Quarter Lab, or when they get their report directly from PayPal of what happened on the RBE business account, the IRS turns to me. And if I don't file that type of stuff, eventually they turn back around and they audit me and they say, yo, man, we got these companies over here saying that they paid you $1 billion, okay, Verb, $1 billion, but you only over here reported 500 million. No, I ain't playing with that shit. That's why even when we get our payouts, I take a percentage of it and I put it on the side for the taxes that I equate. Just use a calculator or use Google. Equate what percentage in New York of making this much I should put aside for taxes. You'll find the answer even on the internet, right? If you don't know how to put it into your calculator, you'll find it. You put that to the side. And when you get into the first quarter, the top of the year, it's time to file your taxes. If that money gets grabbed from your business account or from your savings account or wherever you put it under your bed, and that goes to what the IRS is going to start asking you for. Hey, you just put your tax together. You earn this much. I don't get money back. I make too much money to get paid by the IRS. My days of looking forward to tax season was when I was a fucking kid. Okay? I dread tax season because I make too much money to fucking get a return. I'm just being honest. So I put my money to the side because I know when that fourth quarter or that first quarter rolls around, I owe y'all. And I'm not even going to tell you how much I owe. I owe y'all money. But I got it. I ain't spend it. I'll put it right to the side. To the point where even my RBE partners and co-owners can audit me. So when they pull up RBE, then RBE paid their taxes as well as ARP as an individual. I ain't playing. So anyway, that's why I'm interested in why they turned this man's direction. You know, how they got to the point where they said, wait a minute, $10 million moving around illegally. We want to holler at you. So checks and balances. I like that y'all threw this one in there. Let's do it. Let's bring it into the cycle. Let's do it. Let's keep an eye on it. I just got this last one to throw out there. I thought it was just a cool reminder that this is still out there in the world. The $4 million one of one Wu-Tang album, no one can hear until 2103. Niggas time capsuled an exclusive album. Now, if we remember that farmer guy. Where is he? Is he in? I think I looked at this and they showed him in there. Hold on. This guy. Remember him? Remember this guy? He had it for a second, right? He bought it, right? 9/5/17, and he's showing it. Look how much younger he was in 2017 when he had this now. He got in trouble, right? What did he get in trouble for? Hold on, let's read it. In 2015, it sold for $2 million to Martin, however you pronounce his last name, the disgraced pharma executive, infamous for price gouging a life-saving drug. At one point, he even listed the album on eBay. Bids hit over $1 million, but the sale never closed. After his conviction for securities fraud, the FBI seized the album as an asset. The FBI came in possession of this. Even now, the history of this album ups the price. This shit went through the feds and everything. The FBI seized this shit as an asset. In 2021, it changed hands again, this time brought by a crypto art collective, Pleasure DAO, for $4 million. Still locked under a contract that forbids public release until 2103. It remains one of the most controversial albums in hip-hop history, part protest, part provocation, and part collectible. That is bugged out. People, whether we remember it or not, this piece of hip-hop history is just traveling behind the scenes. and nobody's supposed to reveal it or release it, or we're not supposed to hear it until 2103. Look, this shit look crazy. Only the woo. Only the woo. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. That's incredible. That's incredible, RZA. Whose idea was this? Was this yours, RZA? That's incredible. This shit then been through controversy and the feds. Look at the certificate here. Certificate of Rights. It's traveling behind the scenes through hip hop history, people, on some time capsule shit. That's incredible. All right. Let me double back to the supers real quick. I know we had a lot going on today's stream. The last one I might have seen was this if you go into a hotel one from the Diddy topic. What's good, G? How you been? A member for 22 months. I haven't seen you in a minute. How you been, man? Have you been around? It's been a while. It's been a while, man. Blessings your way as always. Chaos, can you throw in some battle rap history or behind the scenes sometimes? As a fan who came in during the Geechee rise, it's interesting hearing about stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of errors to battle rap, whether you look at it from a business perspective or from just a battle rapper perspective. I did an old school blog. It might still be on this channel. Battle rap in the internet modern YouTube era is nowhere near the beginning. The beginning goes back to not even rapping lyric for lyric. It's just the MC, move the crowd, of us going back and forth and who can make the party jump more, right? The face-to-face stuff started coming around. You know, Kumo D takes the stage and says, I'm going to rap lyrics at you niggas. And it's like, oh, game changing, right? Fast forward, you get some of these guys having controversies and battles. You got the stuff that happens locally in the neighborhoods. Who's the best? You got movies like House Party, Kid versus Play, at a whole nother level of popularizing battle rap. Kid and Play. Whether we give them the credit or not, they deserve it. That movie House Party added so much new fandom to rap battles. Okay. Fast forward, you start to get into like the DVD era. You see the Uncasas and the T-Rexes of the world. They're just rapping verses. They're just rapping things that they already had and rap to other people. And it was actually okay back then. Right. You see even some ciphers with battles. You could see like Jay Mills and Goods and Freeway and Cassidy and like some of these battles sometimes spawn off of ciphers. Jay-Z and DMX and Cannabis and these guys, like, there's battles, right? Then you got the on beat stuff that was obviously heavy. A big one of that is Cannabis and LL Cool J. It's not face to face on stage. It's not conventional today, modern era battle rap. We on beat, exchanging beats. That was happening on the DVD era as well. You got Cassidy over here rap some shit. You got Murder Mook over there rap some shit. You got the Dot Mob, Nems and T-Rex and Murder Mook taking shots at French Montana, and then they go pull up on him and see what he got going on. It's still a rap battle kind of, right? So the history of rap battles runs deep, all the way back into the 80s. It runs deep. Now, the modern era, once we start getting on YouTube and it started being monetized and paid to come through the door and watch these guys rap unique verses against each other, tailored material against each other, that's a big shift, huge shift, right? You got the 106 in Parks, you got the Grind Times, you got the Fight Clubs, you got the Lions Dens, then you got the King of the Dots, the URLs. And you had another era of when you got now, and you know what? I put UW around that time too. UW, I believe, is the first league to do a face-off of modern day convention, right? I think it was UW, hosted by Jay Black, right? And then you have like another wave, like the next wave of even leagues. It's like you got your guerrilla warfares, your RBEs, your Black Ice Cartels, and you know you got that going on. Then you start to move into another layer, bullpens and battle academies, and you know, and then by the time you start seeing Geechee dominate, you know, you got a lot more open field, right? And the Geechee and the twerk and that type of era is more the current. You know, Geechee and twerk, they're fighting their way into Hall of Fames and Mount Rushmore spots and all that, right? So there's a lot of history there. And it gets very, very interesting. And that's why I continue to mix battle rap topics into my streams more. RBE talk, controversy. The other day I spoke about, you know, Easy and Tech Say Go, and I spoke about Jazz's epic rant. And I know there's a lot of battle rap fans on this channel, so I will continue to mix in battle rap topics into my streams. I got y'all. Just hang around. But thank you, Chaos, for that super. Deuce S, laugh my ass off. Don't do that voice again. Sound like Verb. Appreciate the super G. Drosky says he sound like homie from Belly with the bandana. I don't remember what part of the stream was after that one. Data with Kendall says the attractive woman in the office that makes $100K a year with no skills is Amber Rose at a smaller scale. So that's a very true stereotype. You know, the heavy-chested, beautiful, long-haired woman that is the executive assistant that leans over to pick up the pencil and shows everybody her cleavage. That's a true. I've seen it with my own eyes. That's a true stereotype. It is what it is. You see trophies in different areas. You see the trophy find their way to the wife. You see the trophy wife. That's the phrase, right? You see trophies find their way as the girlfriend. You see trophies find their way into the executive assistant. Right? You see trophies popping up in different arenas. So yeah, you on point, Data. Chaos says, if we being honest, Diddy should be higher. No. And it has nothing to do with this freak off and Diddy trial and RICO stuff. He shouldn't be higher because his legacy rap wise, these are top 50 New York rappers. His legacy is one, he's not the greatest of a rapper, bar for bar. And two, he didn't even write the shit. Out of his own mouth, he had the lyric, don't worry if I write raps, I write checks. That's what he said. No, so he can't be higher. I think if somebody wants to put him higher, they're looking at his impact, his run, his success, maybe the other people that he's behind their success of, but that's not the category. It doesn't say top 50 overall impactful people to come through New York rap scene. Then Diddy is top 5, right? Top 3, top 1, top 2, right? It's top 50 rappers. He was never a good rapper, and he never even wrote his own shit. You know how many people we know that wrote for him? Biggie and Jada and this person and that. I think 50 as well. Too many. Jay maybe, like too many people. No fucking way. No, you can't move him up. He's there because he's an icon, period. But if this is a rap list and your whole legacy is that you didn't write shit, huh? Where they do that? That's one of the cardinal rules of hip hop. Who wrote the shit? But shout out to you, Chaos. I just think you didn't look at that piece. You didn't think about that part of it. Like, wait a minute, hold on. We know Diddy's history, right? We can't forget. He didn't write shit. Shout out to our member D Hood Realist says, like Dr. Dre, not a great rapper, but a great producer. Right? Timbaland got to be careful out there. Timbaland's starting to take a lot of hits with all this AI shit he's doing. Too many people starting to come out and say that he's stealing beats and whatnot. Timbaland, slow down, man. Slow down. We need you and Dre and Swizz and guys like that. And we need you guys to maintain the ranks that you guys have earned. Chill out, Timbaland. They're already mad at you for the AI shit. What's all these people coming out talking about thievery? I see it. I might not have the topics always in the streams, but I see what's going on, Tim. Let's slow that shit down. All right, man. We got you, though. Ooh, abso-fucking-lutely. Should be in the top 50. Yes. Ooh, this was such a hip-hop entry. Bane, great addition. Great addition. One of the best concept albums of all time, meaning an album that flows together, not just independent songs doing their own thing. him. He did one of the Good Kid, Mad City is probably going to be the top one that people will vote. But Sticky has top 3 flowing albums, maybe in hip hop history, as far as it's all connected. He might have top 3, definitely at least top 5. Bane, great one. Great one. Somebody throw this man a membership. That was great, Bane. See, I know I could talk hip hop with certain people, man. I could talk this shit with certain people. I got y'all. Oh, shit. This is disrespectful. And nigga said, yo, why is it Pac on the New York list? I'm getting the fuck out of here before my West Coast niggas get mad at me, man. Y'all enjoy y'all fucking day. I'll catch y'all in the morning.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry Street Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.